welcome to Friday Lunchtime Live. This is a pre-recorded video because it is Christmas Day, and I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. Today we're working in the God room. If you are familiar with the Tidy Mind process, you know that we have rooms in our Tidy Mind house where we can locate our mind and see what it is doing and why, and then we can work with that to help it come to a healthier state of being, which means you get to feel better. And that's what we all want to do. We all just want to feel better. We want to feel like we have some sort of choice, some sort of control over how we feel and what we do and how we behave and how we react to things. We want to feel like we are empowered in that way and that we're caring for our mind and that we have healthy minds. So today is all about the God room. The God room can be a touchy subject because people can get very determined that their belief is the only belief and it is the right belief, and there are so many beliefs out there. There's so much content. There's so many religions. There's so many different types of Bibles. There are so many, like, lots of belief, and people become very passionate about their beliefs, so much that wars are started. Like, we have religious wars between nations that happen because of beliefs. That is because I don't believe your God is what you say your God is, and then we get into these wars over this stuff. So I want to just give a little disclaimer that I'm not here to start a war, a controversy, to bring any conflict, to bring any confusion into your mind, or to make you believe what I believe about God, to make your God room be what my God room is. Absolutely not. All that I want for you in this process is that your God room be a place of safety, a place where you can go, when you're caring for that inner child, you can take that inner child and say, we're going to sit here, we're going to give this to God. We're going to use our faith. And what good is a faith if you don't know how to use it? So I separated out to say that we use a God room when we're hanging out in our future room a lot, meaning we're worried about things we have no idea. Like, we can't see the greater perspective. We don't know what's coming. We don't know what's going to happen, and we worry. And that means you're hanging out in the future room, and that creates worry and anxiety. So the God room, if it's functional, which is what we're working on today, is a place that you can go to get that extra bit of support from your faith. Now, this only works for you if your God room is a supportive, loving, unconditional space where you feel safe. If you have issues with God, the God of this is your belief, your God, the God of your understanding, the God that maybe you were raised to believe was a certain way, and then you became angry at this version of God. But instead of coming to a new understanding of God or developing a new belief around God, one that's more supportive and loving, you held on to this belief, this old belief, and instead just became angry. You became angry with it. You became disillusioned with it. You became bitter, resentful. You built walls. You built walls around your God room. You're hating your God room now. That's not working for you. Actually, if that is in your Tidy Mind house, that is a toxic environment. So your faith, instead of being something that you can rely on, that you can depend on, that brings you comfort, that brings you peace in those challenging times, instead of it operating like that, now it's just reminding you of past experiences where you felt like you were abandoned, like you felt like God had failed you, where you felt like you did everything that you thought you were supposed to do, and then God didn't hold up his end of the bargain, or her end of the bargain, whatever your belief is, that God failed you in some way, and so you become bitter then. Now your faith, your God room is not working for you. So what do we need to do? So if that is you, if you resonated with that at all, or maybe you didn't, but maybe you want to just go into your God room and check it out to say, okay, well, I don't want any of that in there. Like, I don't want I don't want to have built any walls between me and my God, which is my source of faith, which is my source of unconditional love, or my source of higher perspective or wisdom or knowledge or connection, or whatever your belief is. And that's something you'll need to look at too. What is your belief? Does it serve you? Does it help you? Does it bring you comfort? Does it bring you peace? Then, do you have a wall of, am I angry at God? Am I angry at God about something? Have I walled off this part of me? Do I not even want to talk about God? Does the word God even anger me? And I know there was a point in time in my life where I could say that I'd come to a place where I was realizing my belief about God and then my experience of God were not matching, and I was becoming bitter, and I was angry. And at first I was angry at God, and then I got angry at my own belief about God, or my own understanding, or my own ignorance of God. Then I was mad about that. And then I got to a point where I was like, well, what is God? What can I learn? Can I seek it out? Can I pray about it? Can I ask for the truth? And I did just that. I was like, I just want the truth. That's all I really want. I want a truth that sits with me, that supports me, that I can rely on when things get hard or challenging, that I can believe in. I want that. And so that's what I did. I just started searching. I cleaned out my God room. First of all, I had a belief in there that wasn't, it was old, it was outdated, it was passed down from other people and other minds and what they thought God should be and what they thought God was. It was full of fear and shame and guilt. And I know now, and this isn't to impose my belief on you, but for me, the truth that I found was that wasn't God at all. God is a love, of unconditional love, which means you don't have to deserve it. You don't have to be good for it. You don't have to act a certain way for it. You don't have to, God's not going to just like, okay, well, good luck then. You didn't do what I told you to do, so good luck. God doesn't abandon you based off of your behavior, whether it meets God's standards or doesn't meet. God is there. God is unconditional. God is love. And that is now what I have my God room full of. And now that is my understanding, that feels safe to me. That feels that no matter maybe what my mind has gotten me into, what kind of trouble that, I justified it in some way. My mind was like, oh yes, I need this or I need that, and I should do this and I should do that, no matter how my mind has justified it. And I find myself in a challenging situation. I know that I can go to this God room and I'm not going to be shut out. I'm not going to be, it's like, well, you made your bed, so now I'm not going to get any of that. I'm going to get, you are loved. You are held no matter what. You don't have to deserve it. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to be a certain way to get it. It is there. It is there for you always. And that kind of God room is a source of comfort for me. I also had to drop those walls that I had. I had to drop that anger, as I talked about before, the anger that I had about, well, apparently what I was believing is not working, and I had to get rid of being mad at God for that, or being mad at God for letting certain things happen that I didn't think God should let happen to good people. I had to let go of all of that anger. That's a wall now, when you have that resentment, even with God, you're building a wall. You're separating yourself from love, and we don't want to do that. So I had to clear all of that out. I had to clear my anger out at myself for just feeling ignorant about what God. I had to get rid of anything that wasn't love. All the walls had to drop down. And then I looked at my God room and I said, you know what? The belief that I have now around God, there is nothing scary in there. I don't have beliefs around, and this is for me. This is a personal belief for me, and you have to make your God room what it needs to be for you. But for me, I don't believe in a like a physical hell. I believe in hell, and I believe it exists. It's mental. Like, I believe that there are people walking around right now in mental hell, and I believe that you can reach a space within your mind of bliss, of what we call heaven. Now, I don't know. I'm not die. Like, I can't tell you where we go when we die. I believe our minds just have a new projection of an experience. That's just me. That's just me from what I have read, I have prayed about, I have asked for clarity, I've asked for guidance, and that's what you have to do for yourself. I can't tell you that doesn't exist or that does exist. I can't tell you that what's going to happen after you die. I can't fill your God room up for you. I can only do that for myself, and you need through studying, through research, through praying about it, through asking for clarity, feel into what feels right for you, what feels true for you, what brings comfort to you. Feel into that for you, and make your God room a place that you can go to. That's what your faith is for. Your faith, it's not to beat you up when you're already down. It is not to shame you and guilt you. It is there to pick you up, to lift you up when you followed that mind off, that ego off, and maybe made some choices that weren't the greatest. Maybe you made some, and I really don't even believe in mistakes. I believe you have experiences and you learn from those experiences, and that faith is there to hold you up when you can't see the big picture. You don't know what's going to happen next. You don't have all the answers. You're kind of standing in the dark, or you feel like you're standing in the dark. That faith is there for you to pull on and say, yeah, I may not be able to see what's right in front of me. I may not be able to see what's going to happen tomorrow, but I know in my God room, I know that sees, and I know that is guiding me to where it's guiding my footsteps. It's guiding my actions. It's showing me step by step, giving me little breadcrumb after breadcrumb where I need to go, and what I need to do next, and who I need to talk to next. But it takes trust. It takes trust to be able to stay connected to that God room and hear those instructions, to hear that higher information, to hear those next steps, to feel, oh, well, I'll just go here and I'll just go there, and then those things just start lining up for you. All that takes is a supportive God room, one that you find comfort in, one that you and your mind can trust. And then when you can trust it and stay connected to it, you trust that it is guiding your steps in what to do. It's helping you make those decisions that you can't make on your own because you can't see a higher perspective. You can't see what's down the road for you. You can't see into the future. That is why we get so stressed out when we get into that future room, is because our mind is trying to see that on its own. Our mind is in fear. Our mind is disconnected from its God room, maybe because it has a God room it can't trust yet, or it's full of resentment and walls. It's not connected. So yeah, it's on its own. That's a scary feeling, isn't it? To feel like you're just on your own in this and you've got to figure it out. That God room is there as a connection point to say, no, you don't, and you shouldn't. You can't. You're in a much lower perspective of things. You can't see the bigger picture. But for that to work for you, what I'm saying is you need to reevaluate what you have in your beliefs around God. If you're angry about any of those things, meaning you've got walls up, and then start to build that trust in that God room. If your faith's not working for you, like, what's the point of having one? Like, sure, go to church every Sunday. Go make an appearance. Go let people think you're whatever identity you're wanting to hold for yourself. Is that going to help you in your challenging times? No? Are those people going to look at you and just the thought of them thinking you're an upstanding person because you go to church every Sunday or you showed up for this service or that service, is that going to help you in your challenging times? No? Like, does it give you a split second of satisfaction for them to think certain things about you? Sure. Does it support you when times are hard? No, it doesn't. That's what a faith is about. It's not for an appearance of, oh, I'm an upstanding person. See me go to church. See my bumper sticker on the back of my car. See how spiritual I am. Look at all of the necklaces and beads and crystals and check me out. Like, I'm so spiritual. Great. Good for you. Like, that's good, fine. If that gives you that moment of satisfaction for other people to think you're connected, for other people to think that you've got it going on, fine. But that's not what it's all about. What it's personal. It's between you and whatever your belief is in your God room. And it's there not to look good to everybody else, to prove you're a good person. It's not there for that. It's there to have that comfort, to have that peace, to have that safety net, to have that knowing that you're connected to something that is there for you, that is guiding you, that is helping you. If you don't have that, find that. I don't care what it is you believe. I don't care. It can, whatever. Just have something that you can take your mind to say, hey, you don't have to figure this all out by yourself. You are not in this alone. There is something bigger than you, something greater than you, that is there to guide you during challenging times. That is what faith is about. It's about having that relationship of trust in something that is an energy, a force that knows you, that knows what's best for you, that has your best interest at heart, that loves you no matter what you do, that is not there to shame you or guilt you or send you to hell because you can't do something. And I've told y'all so many times, you cannot change a behavior with shame or guilt. And y'all know this. That is one definite way to seal that, to concrete, to make that stick. You want a behavior to stick, you want to keep doing it, shame and guilt, and beat yourself up over it constantly. And I guarantee you, you're gonna, no matter how much you want to not do it, you're gonna keep doing it. You're gonna keep doing it until you can come to the place where you love yourself, even when you're doing that thing. When you stop making it such a big deal, that's when you'll stop doing it. When you can love yourself out of that behavior, that's when that behavior will stop. The shame and the guilt, it just fuels it, okay? And if you've got a God room full of shame and guilt and, you're a horrible person because you did this and that and you should hate yourself and you're going to hell now and you're going to burn and you're going to, that's fear. Like, if you've got that, I just ask you to please clean that up, not for me, but for yourself. I already cleaned mine up, and I've got mine tidy, and I've got it working for me, and that's all I want for you. You get to believe whatever you believe. I'm not here to change that belief for you. I'm just encouraging you, if you want to have something that supports you during those challenging times, that you feel is guiding you, that is helping you keep that stress down, that brings comfort, that brings peace. It's a place of relief. It's a place of rest, that when you think about it, when you think about that God, or you think about that higher being or whatever, it takes you to a different state of mind. It takes you to a different way of being, and it pulls you up out of that fear. It pulls you up out of that shame. It pulls you up out of that stress, out of that confusion, out of your mind doing all the stuff that it pulls your mind up, and it kind of like calms it. It just holds it and numbs it out. That's what it should be doing for you when you think about the energy in your God room, the belief in your God room, the higher power in your God room. When you think about that, when you spend any time whatsoever thinking about that thing, whatever that thing is, that it begins to pull, that focus begins to pull, that connection begins to pull your mind out of that hell that it is in and into a whole new space of just, it's almost like medicine. It's just like, oh, I'm just numb. That's why people do drugs. That's why people take things. They're trying to get that feeling for their mind. But that's what your God room is supposed to do. If you make a strong enough God room and you're feeling this space of devastation or stress or, oh, I don't know what to do. When you think about your God room, which means in your tidy mind house, you're going into your God room, you're thinking about that presence, you're thinking about that. Maybe for you it's singing, maybe for you it's worship, maybe for you it's praying, maybe for you it's coloring, maybe for you it's meditation, maybe whatever connects you to that space where you can feel that energy surround you. It should take your mind to if you don't have one yet, get one, okay? Get one. So that's what today is about. Take some time, clean out your God room, and get it to a place of comfort. Thank you for being with me today on Christmas. Merry Christmas. And I will see you next Friday for New Year's Day, where we'll be talking about another room in the house. I'm not sure exactly what it is yet. Have a wonderful Christmas.